Oxford House is special to me and thousands of other individuals recovering from alcoholism and drug addiction. I was one of the 13 original members of Oxford House in 1975. Today, 25 years later, there are more than 750 Oxford Houses in this country, Canada, and Australia. This video provides a snapshot of how recovering alcoholics and drug addicts living in an Oxford House can draw upon the democratic roots of America, the New England Town Meeting, to transform their common enslavement to alcohol and/or drug addiction into a better life for themselves, their families, and their community. The Oxford House Manual provides the framework for the group to organize itself into a family that supports itself. The weekly business meeting becomes the heartbeat that keeps each Oxford House alive and growing. It is led by officers elected from among the residents themselves. To discourage bossism, the officers hold their offices for only 6 months at a time. To encourage equal treatment and fairness, each member has an equal vote in deciding how the house is run, who is accepted as a resident, and who must be expelled because of relapse into alcohol or drug use. Notice in the following video how the group follows parliamentary procedure and an orderly process. This not only makes certain that important matters affecting the welfare of the house are covered, but also develops a group conscience that is strong enough to support house decisions even among dissenters. Watch the video and pass on the good news. Oxford Houses are a cost-effective way to enable recovering alcoholics and drug addicts to help themselves to recovery without relapse.
We hope to present you with an example of how a house meeting should be conducted. First, let me introduce the players. The president is Joe, secretary Talana, treasurer Myrna, comptroller Joe, chore coordinator Jennifer, and there is an absent house member. A house meeting should be set for a regular day and time on a weekly basis. This ensures that all members are always aware of the meeting.
I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Evergreen Oxford House at 6:30. And the secretary, please make the roll call.
Sure will. Joe V.
Here.
Joe S.
Here.
Talana, I'm here. Jennifer.
I'm here.
And James is absent.
James is absent again?
So has James notified anybody of his absence?
Not me.
I didn't hear from him.
Oh, really? Well, then I'd like to entertain a motion.
Any excused absence should be made with preferably the House President or Secretary prior to the scheduled meeting time.
I'll second that motion.
Excused absences are for illness, death in the family, or work. Meetings should be set to accommodate all members' work and outpatient schedules. Most houses in Washington have a $25 fine assessed for unexcused absence.
Motion is carried. James will be fined $25 for unexcused absence. And we'll now have the reading of traditions. And it's,
This meeting opener may be the Serenity Prayer or a reading from one of the recovery meditation books such as 24 Hours or A Day at a Time. The secretary should pass around copies of the traditions to everyone. Each member will read a paragraph and follow along as others read.
Tradition 5. Each Oxford House should be autonomous except in matters affecting other houses of Oxford House, Inc. as a whole. Each Oxford House is self-supporting and self-run.
Thanks, Joe. Sure. Will Secretary please read the minutes from the last meeting?
Okay. The date of the last meeting was May 20th.
At this time, the secretary will read the minutes in their entirety, including the meeting number, members present, all financial information, officer reports, old business, and new business.
There were no Joe V. moved to adjourn the meeting at 8 p.m. Myrna seconded. All were in favor.
May I have a motion to approve or correct the minutes as read?
Talana read in there that I was supposed to call the cable company, and I've already done that.
Yeah, you know, I'm still getting lousy reception. It's just awful.
This is a common mistake that is made at meetings. The minutes are only a record of business that transpired at the last meeting. The follow-up will come under old business.
Wait a minute, guys. We can discuss that later on in old business. I'd now like to entertain a motion to accept minutes as read.
Wait a second. I think I heard Talana read that we allocated $20 for the new coffee pot, and I remember that we amended that to $25.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'll change that in a minute.
Because I spent $25 on it.
Okay.
The minutes have been corrected.
Okay, good. Then I'll move that we accept the minutes as corrected.
The president now calls for a second, and a vote is taken. He would then state that the minutes have been accepted as corrected.
I'd like to call for the treasurer's report.
The treasurer's report would then be given.
Joe paid his deposit, which was $100.
Notice that the treasurer gives all the details of the report, including checks, what they were written for, and anyone that paid for something.
Joe V., his share, $300, and we collected $30 in fines.
Has the audit been completed and signed by all the members, Myrna?
Yes, it has.
Could you please pass it around so we could see it?
Sure.
Thank you.
I move that we pay the following bills.
A motion is made and seconded. If passed, the treasurer makes out bills during the meeting so the comptroller and president can sign them. This is an important procedure and helps ensure the safety of your funds.
The motion has been carried unanimously. Is there any further discussion on the treasurer's report? I entertain a motion to accept the treasurer's report as read.
I'll move to accept the treasurer's report.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
The next order of business is the comptroller's report.
Accepted. I now call for the comptroller's report.
The comptroller's report includes reporting any money received, whether from regularly scheduled shares of expenses, assessed fines, telephone charges, or donations. Each item should be read to include the source, date, and amount. Each listed amount should be documented with a receipt to payee.
Jennifer, what is your status?
Hey, James isn't here again. He hasn't really been a part of the house, and this really concerns me.
He's just been taking my food. He's been doing all kinds of things like this. You know what?
I share a room with the
Yeah,
guy.
no.
It's
He
out of
never
control.
turns his side of the room. It's a mess.
Let's come up with a
I've seen
solution
him
to the
clean
problem.
Let's discuss this in old business later on. We need to get this meeting back on track.
Yes, you're right.
All right, all right.
Jennifer, what's your status?
The comptroller shall also report any past due amounts from the residents and ask them to give an explanation to the group regarding their payment.
Okay, I did some shopping this week. On the 24th, I bought some paper towels.
The second part of the comptroller's report is the purchase of any household supplies. This includes what was purchased and the amount spent. At this time, the receipts should be passed around for all to view.
I looked at the supply list and the supplies, and we need coffee, creamer, toilet paper, and detergent. I move that we allocate $25 for supplies, and I have $3.35.
All money to be spent must be discussed and voted on in the form of a motion. The secretary must record the motion as stated and record the vote.
Is there any other discussion on that? All in favor? Motion has been carried. I would also like to entertain a motion to accept the comptroller's report as read.
I will make a motion that we accept the comptroller's report.
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Motion has been carried. Jennifer, may we have the Chore coordinator's report?
Sure. Well, everybody, the house looks really good. In fact, my mom stopped by the other day, and I was really proud, and she was impressed, too. But I do have some bad news. James had the living room last week, and he only dusted once. That's just because I reminded him.
Geez, that guy.
Again.
You know.
So I posted that we should fine him for it.
Well, I make a motion we fine James $15 for not doing his chores.
Each fine suggested by the chore coordinator
All those
must
in
be
favor?
voted on by the entire household.
The motion has been passed unanimously. Jennifer, would you like to give us the rest of your report?
Sure. Next week's chores. Talana, you have the living room. James has the kitchen.
May I have a motion to accept the Chore report?
I'll move to accept the chore coordinator's report.
And I second it.
All those in favor?
Except for me
Motion.
doing it.
Motion is carried. I would now like to go on to old business. And I heard there's something about a cable company or something.
Old business is anything that has been discussed previously. This means at any past
I
meeting.
know you don't watch TV.
The chair will work with his secretary prior to the meeting in setting this part of the agenda.
So Jennifer, are you going to call a cable company tomorrow? Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. And the next item on
Oh,
our...
yeah, this thing with Joe and Talana.
Oh.
We need to do something about it. It's disruptive.
2 weeks ago, we addressed the problem between, Talana and Joe.
The suggested process in a house problem between individuals is to first ask them to confront one another in an I feel method.
Well, actually,
If this doesn't work, then the second step would be to meet with the chair as a mediator. The chair must act only as a mediator, not a dictator. If this still doesn't work, it then becomes a house issue. A possible solution at this point is to put both individuals on a contract that would encourage unity.
I'm glad you guys have come to an agreement, and we don't have to put you on contract now. Okay? And my next item on my agenda is the chapter meeting and houses service meeting. And Joe, are you going to go to that meeting?
I'll be there.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Is there any more old business? If there's no more old business, I'd like to move into new business. And we interviewed Chuck Jones tonight, so let's go around the room and hear everybody's opinion. Joe, would you like to start us out?
The voting in of a new member should always be included under new business. It takes an 80% vote of the membership to confirm a member.
I'm not convinced that he was being totally honest with us, and him hanging around with his using friends really does concern me.
Any new business will be brought up at this time. Remember, any business that requires action, whether it be cutting a check, voting in or out a member, purchasing an item, planning an event, or accepting a fine, must be put in the form of a motion, voted on, and recorded in the minutes.
It's 2. Okay, all those against Chuck? It's 3. The nays win, so Chuck is not accepted to House. So, Lana, will you please call Chuck and let him know that he's not accepted?
I will do that tonight.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any other new business?
The meeting may be closed by a motion from the residents or simply by the chair stating, "If there is no further business, the meeting is adjourned."
Let's do it how it goes it. Jennifer, how do you feel about
After the meeting is adjourned, it is a good time to hold a processing or how goes it time for each member to share. This is a very important aspect of the household unity and should not be overlooked. Most houses make it mandatory.
Jennifer, I'm really glad you decided to move in, and I hope that if you need anything, you can come to me. But other than that...
I hope you have enjoyed looking at real Oxford House residents, conducting a real Oxford House meeting. Alcoholism and drug addiction enslaved us and took away free choice. Oxford House gives us the time, peer support, and tools to become free of alcohol and drug use forever. In the process, we learn how to work together to create a life in which we can pursue happiness by exercising responsibility and free choice. Pass on the good news. Oxford House's work.